Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the woman is a public health menace, and she gets away like Teflon. She's pretty. She's clearly rich. She's clearly connected in Hollywood. No one speaks up about her crackpot, dangerous ideas, and she's got plenty of them. I think she was promoting ozone rectal therapy enemas at one point. She had this let's put plastic eggs in her vagina to control something. I'm not sure what it was. Um, the woman is just making a fortune out of misinformation. Probably has a bigger public health footprint than anybody I can think of. And, she's on talk shows. People love her. We all wonder what her next TV or movie thing is going to be, la-di-da. Who else gets a pass on this is Aaron Rodgers.
Go ahead.
The NFL quarterback guy. He won't vaccinate. He just came out and endorsed RFK Jr. for president, which is, the equivalent of endorsing the Mad Hatter for president. And this is a guy who, spends 4 nights in the dark to make a decision about where he's going to play football, but that's his thing.
I think
he also promotes absolutely crackpot views.
I think he's bad. I think he's really bad, but arguably he's not making a huge profit off of selling supplements that don't work or that make you think they work or they don't work as well as it seems like when you say public health menace, to me in a lot of radio shows and podcasts obviously sell that kind of bullshit. I could not take the money from a company. And I had a hard time. I was doing it earlier in the podcast. I have a really hard time. But specifically when you're putting something in your body, a supplement or on your body, on your skin, that you're going to lose weight, your skin's going to be younger or different, and it doesn't work. The idea that I would use my voice, much less allow that myself to make money off that, ethically, that is where I definitely draw the line. But you say she's a public health menace. That's strong words.
Well, saying don't vaccinate, use immune boosters. There's no such thing as an immune booster. Arguing that you should use cleansings to try and control colon cancer. How about we all get a colonoscopy, maybe to try and control?
I get my consult tomorrow, Doc.
There you go. I mean, it goes on and on. You go to her page and just run down the list, and she's basically saying, you don't have to do X because I'm going to sell you Y. And Y turns out to be non-evidence-based, totally commercial. She has a vested interest in promoting it, so it's a gigantic mountain of conflict of interest. I worry that, she's encouraging people to delay going to the doctor when they have symptoms, and she's promoting phony health prevention activities that are just costing people money and not doing them any good. Other than that, she's okay.
The irony about that court case against her is she's now Goop has come out with a giant plastic bubble that inflates like an airbag if you're about to get hit by somebody that wants to sue you. Which I think that seems to work, though. So I have no issue with. Gotta know if somebody's about to hit you. Let's talk about the current landscape of abortion access in America. So that's my big, larger question before we drill down on the issues regarding the pills. And I talked with Dr. Aaron Carroll about this last week, but I want to get your take. Of course, how do you see the landscapes post Dobbs in terms of access? I read that the North Carolina legislature, because this woman was Democrat, flipped to Republican, thus throwing the power to Republicans, thus overcoming a veto of the governor as a Democrat, meaning, Art, that it could shut down the entire Southeast's access to abortion. So that seemed like a pretty big headline that I haven't heard many people talk about. But what's your take on the current sitch?
Well, basically, half of America has some limit that usually is around 6 weeks. Florida just passed that, or nothing. So, and at least 20 South Carolina legislators have a bill pending to offer the death penalty to anybody who performs an abortion, which seems somewhat not pro-life in my crude understanding of where that might be. But Dobbs was a ridiculous decision because it basically went against not only established jurisprudence, but it introduced all sorts of non-scientific facts, including the idea that fetuses were viable, much younger than 20 weeks. They're not. We know they're not because they don't have any lungs. They breathe like mermaids in amniotic fluid inside the mom. That's the limit on viability. And to start making up facts just is, it's sad. So, all right, they returned the authority to the states. The states are restricting abortion left and right. These are decisions, I believe, that still are fundamentally ethical and should be a woman's choice. If you don't like abortion, then you persuade the woman not to do it. Period. What's this outlaw the procedure? What's that all about? If you can't win the moral mind of the woman and persuade her, don't end this pregnancy, then your arguments, I think, need to be beefed up. But this should be a personal decision. I'm not saying you can't challenge what a woman thinks. You can ask for an explanation. You could try to, give different reasons. But you know what we got, Pete? All over these states that are restricting abortion, they're just making up scientific claims, just totally making them up. Mifepristone, the abortion pill, it's not safe, says some judge in Amarillo, Texas. The FDA looked at this thing for years, gave it an approval 20 years ago, has been collecting data. The pill is safer than Viagra or ibuprofen, side effects wise. It's got no profile. They revisited the whole thing in 2016, reestablished the same safety profile. This judge all of a sudden is jumping up and down saying, I'm not persuaded. I have some special pipeline to evidence, and I don't think it should have been approved. It's just sad on its face. And you know what I can't believe? I can't believe that organized medicine isn't screaming bloody murder about this intrusion into their authority, into their professionalism, when these states make up things like embryos are tiny people. An embryo has a 50% chance of becoming a person. 50%. That means half of them are miswired and they don't make it. It's true that every life begins at conception. It is not true, factually, that every conception begins a life, because the half of them fail. Let's get the facts out there, folks. Where are our doctors and our scientists screaming a bit more loudly about this? And we're going to really let judges, some of whom may have had some high school science, I don't know, maybe, start to tell us what is medically true or what scientific evidence is about drugs?
This judge decided that the FDA was wrong 20 years ago.
Yep.
And you mentioned the other drugs that are even more dangerous, like Viagra and ibuprofen, which, by the way, don't take those two together, because I did. My balls swelled up. But that might have been something else.